Hey, everybody, it is Eric Green. Thank you for tuning in for this week's podcast. And what I wanted to do is talk to you about, because we get a lot of questions about this, the folks that we have approached to sponsor our podcast. This is the software. These are the things that we use in our own practice. And so down below in the description, we will give you links to these. But what we do, and I've done an episode on this called Dialing for Dollars, okay? And what this is Call ENQ. This will get you through to the IRS in under 3 minutes. It is unbelievable, all right? This alone is going to knock off about 50,000 of billable time for us. So we used to spend on hold to try to get transcripts or try to call to get a hold on collection. Go check out Call ENQ. We have arranged, okay, for a special trial for $19.95. You will get 200 minutes. So for $20, you can go ahead and test it out. Trust me, it will change the way you practice. All right. Also below, Tax Help software. This is the software that we use to go ahead and pull transcripts as well as do all of our resolution work, our offers and compromise, our installment agreements. As you probably know, the IRS has now stopped the faxing of transcripts. No big deal. If you have Tax Help software, submit the power of attorney. Once it's on file, you can go in, pull your transcripts, pull your wage and earning reports. But beyond that, you can everything summarized in a report that you can provide to attorneys, provide to your client, that will summarize everything, including the collection statute expiration date by year, penalties, interest. You can find opportunities for penalty abatement by using that. The other thing about Tax Help software is when I log in every morning, I have a dashboard that will show me because it runs overnight, everything that has changed with my clients' accounts. Anyone that is no longer in uncollectible status, offers that have been accepted or rejected will show up before I even get the letter. Audits will be flagged months before the client receives their audit letter. Okay, it is amazing, and it will help you really get a handle on your practice and help your clients. Again, we've arranged for a 2-week free trial as well as a discount on the purchase of Tax Help software. Go ahead below in the description. Go check that out. Again, it is the keystone, if you will, of our resolution practice here. And finally, Receipt Bank. Many of you have seen the videos of me on social media. It's fantastic. Because I do a lot of speaking. I'm on the road. I was at AICPA. I was at Scaling New Heights. I will be at NATP in Chicago, the national conference. I used to jam all my receipts in my bag. Hopefully we had them all. Our controller, Susan, was always all over me. Not anymore. I take a photo in Receipt Bank. It goes in. It is logged immediately into QuickBooks with an image of the receipt. I can lose it, burn it, eat it, do whatever I want to it. It is there forever. All right. That is how you bulletproof your return. It's how you will get your clients to bulletproof theirs. Go check out Receipt Bank below. And thank you for listening to the podcast, and continue building your practices.
All right, everybody, listen, thank you for joining us on the Tax Rep Network podcast. I have a very special guest joining me today. Alison Reiff-Martin is a CPA and the CEO and founder of Reiff-Martin CPA and Business Advisory Services, PLLC. She has over 30 years of accounting experience, ranging from staff accountant to director of accounting to entrepreneur. Alison enjoys collaborating with clients to find simple solutions to complex problems in their finances. It was through working in accounting in the broadcast, television, radio, and agency industries that she learned the importance of being a trusted advisor and partner. Alison has a passion for translating accounting best practices into simple and practical strategies to help her clients grow and achieve their goals. Now, on December 6th, Alison is hosting the Business Advisory Summit in Dallas, where she and others will be focusing on how to incorporate business advisory services as a part of their offering and how to do so effectively, efficiently, and in a tech-savvy way. So, Alison, welcome to the Tax Rep Network podcast.
Oh, thanks so much for having me on, Eric. I've been looking forward to this.
I'm glad you're here. And so, Allison, look, I want to focus on the upcoming conference for a moment, which I think is very cool. And when I saw the flyer, it's actually what made me want to have you on the program.
Yep.
So, CPAs do face a myriad of challenges these days. But what do you think are the biggest?
Well, first off, thank you again for giving me the chance to talk with you about this my Business Advisory Summit. And I'll be honest with you, this conference started for me as a personal quest because I've been reading a lot of articles and listening to a lot of podcasts talking about how we're supposed to move into the client advisory space and how we're supposed to address all the challenges that are facing CPAs. And I wanted to be a share because I thought I'm not the only one who has all these questions. So that's how I came up with this advisory summit, which has a great lineup of speakers and will give us a lot of good information. And it'll allow us to address what I see as the 4 challenges that are facing CPAs. I think the first one is the changing technological environment. And as you know, and as I've heard you comment on other podcast episodes, technology has made it seem to our clients that they can take care of their financials and their tax situations on their own, which, as you know, they can't always do that. They think it's something that's just a piece of cake and snap, it's going to be printed out. So what they really end up getting is just a report that has a bunch of numbers that doesn't mean anything. I also too think the environment is changing not just for our clients, but for us as well. We can't be complacent anymore just being a tax preparer or a bookkeeper. We have to figure out how we can demonstrate to our clients in many, many ways a lot of value beyond just being known as the bookkeeper or the tax preparer, and how can we help them with their problems. I think we've relied too much on technology as the answer when it's really just a tool. It's how we can use our expertise and advice that helps them solve the problems, not necessarily just the technology. I think another problem, my second one, is that clients are hungering for our expertise and advice, but they don't know what or how to ask. Since, as you know, data is coming fast and furiously to our clients, and they don't have time to wait. They don't want to wait till the end of the next month to get their financials. They need us to be timely with the financials so that they can make a sound business decision or course correct when necessary. And 2, what I have found with a lot of my clients is they don't know what they don't know. I think I found that myself too. But we're missing out on a golden opportunity to position ourselves as a trusted advisor by stepping in and helping them figure out their questions, working with them on identifying what I would like to call the leading indicators of their business as opposed to the lagging indicators of their business. I think this is a big one too, and I experienced this myself when I was teaching as an adjunct instructor at the University of North Texas at Dallas when I was teaching Accounting 101. Accounting is intimidating. As I'm sure you know, Eric, accounting it's a whole different language, and it takes many semesters in college to learn. And when you talk to your client about depreciation, payroll taxes, bank recs, IRS tax codes, what do your clients do? They roll their eyes back and say, oh, move on. Let's move on to something that's a lot more interesting to talk about because those words are boring and they do not mean anything to me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, right? So when all is said and done, what our clients really want to know is, am I making money? If not, why am I not making money? And how can I get ready for any kind of headwinds that are coming our way? And it seems like what we're missing again is the golden opportunity to be proactive and provide relevant insight with our clients. So we talked about 3, but when all is said and done, I think you have mentioned on many occasions in your episodes, the biggest issue is we don't spend time getting to know our clients. We spend too much time with our heads down doing the work that we don't take the time to figure out what's their pain point. Why aren't they making money? What does their business even do, and what keeps them up at night? So I'll tell you a little story about me and my background and why this issue was really a big one for me. My first job out of graduate school, I was the finance manager for a local television station in Denver, Colorado, and I was in charge of the news and engineering budgets. And it was my job to make sure they stuck within their budget. The engineering director, I think in his selfish way to make sure he protected his budget, spent an awful lot of time with me, taking me on a really cool tour of Colorado, showing me every single broadcast tower. He showed me all the inventory, and he actually even gave me a chance to play a small role in a live production event of the state high school basketball championships. I think I can pull cord with the best of them. But besides being really fun, what it really drove home for me was that I couldn't be a good accountant if I didn't know what I was accounting for. And as a result of that experience, I was able to anticipate the questions he was going to ask. I was able to be prepared with how he could move money around in his budget so that he could, meet extra goals. And what I've done throughout my practice with this is I've tried really hard to carry this mindset with me. No client is too small for me to really get to know them and their story. And it's made for a much better experience for me because it's a lot of fun to get to know my clients. And it also provides a lot of insight that I hadn't anticipated when we first got together, starting to work together. And I think that's one of the problems, again, not that because we don't spend time, that's something that we really need to do a better job with so that we can successfully partner with our clients. And for those who attend for the Business Advisory Summit, I think the best session that they're going to hear is the starting one where we have a business panel of 3 industry leaders who are in 3 really cool industries: law, which would be right up your alley, a coffee shop that's really got awesome coffee, and a CEO of a alcoholic beverage company. And they are going to be telling us, what can we do to better serve our clients? I think it's going to be really eye-opening for those who attend because they're going to get to see what do we need to do to better serve our clients and what kind of questions should we be thinking about asking them. So I'm really looking forward to that part.
One of the things that I'm curious about, though, is the counter argument of, I can imagine are you charging for the time that you're spending learning about them? You know where I'm going with this? Like, there's many small businesses that, so let me tell you, so my experience has been, given what I do, that we have a lot of folks come in and their problems are they don't use their accountants properly. Now, we could say part of it is the accountants don't really know them, don't take the time, but I think a lot of it is one is we're all too busy. Everyone is, we're all too busy. So no one's going to take time. First quarter, I really got to make time to go see my accountant, right? If there's no problem or there's no fire, they generally don't want to. The other thing is they don't want to pay for it, right? I mean, all you're doing is putting stuff in a computer. Right? How hard's that? And so what I'll do is, so what I'll do is at the end of the year, I'll bring you a big box of shit and you'll figure it all out and we're all good. I agree with you. My argument has been, your accountant is only useful if you use them, all right? The time to meet with them is not in January, February, March. It's, once maybe late spring, once maybe over the summer, but certainly by mid-fall, late fall, because nobody can help you make moves if the game's over.
Yep, right? I agree with that one.
There are very few moves. And so my only concern is, it's a best practice, but getting your client on board with it may be tough. But to go back to the technology for a moment. So is technology the problem? Is it the solution? Is it a mixed bag? I mean, where do you think that technology is here as far as, is it the boogeyman? Is it the savior? Is it somewhere in between?
I see it as really the mixed bag that you were talking about. I think it can be the problem because as we keep saying, our clients don't come to us until January because they think it's TurboTax or QuickBooks and Zippo, they can get it done just like that, and they get some report, and come January, like you're saying, they come to us and we're like, why didn't you tell us about this in June so we could have helped you fix? And their response would be, why didn't you ask? So I think it's a mixed bag that, they've got the misconception that, they give us the bag of stuff and we put it in a box and Zippo something appears. We need to be more proactive. And I think in terms of, you're right, your clients don't want to use this because they don't want to pay for it. But I think that's where you can, impress upon them, we bring real value to you to save you time and money and help you so that you can focus on the efforts of what you want to do for your business. Like if you want to go out and sell widgets, you don't want to waste time on the accounting. We bring real value to you to help you save money so that you can focus on what your goals are. In terms of not just being the problem, I see it as the solution too. Technology, we can make it to be more efficient and relevant to our clients. We can help to transform and drive innovation through like automated bill pay. It's just a function of figuring out which one best works for us to make a better experience for our clients. And our goal should really be on what's the best, provides the best experience for our clients, to provide insightful information. What I have found too, and this is why I've asked Daniel Cohen-Dumais to speak with us about this during the conference, is technology is intimidating for us as well. There's so many choices out there that we don't even know what to choose or what to invest in. And I think he's going to bring a lot of insight for us so that we will be in a better position of what we can choose for our clients.
The software it's overwhelming. I mean, I think I've mentioned this to you before. It's table that for the moment. I want to finish a thought though we had, that we were talking about people not using their accountant properly, and I think we agree on that. Whereas you're talking about you need to know your clients. What I'm saying is, idiot clients, you need to be able to work with your accountant properly to really actually get the benefit of having an accountant. But I want to ask you, and because it's my podcast, I don't give a shit if I offend people. How much of this do you think is driven by the client, and or how much is driven by the CPA? And I'll say, for instance, H&R Block and TurboTax have done, in my opinion, terrible damage. Because what they have done is they've created the sense or the perception that tax return is cheap, it's easy, you don't need special skills, all you need is this software. And I've had clients that have done TurboTax, and they had multiple businesses, and it keeps saying, how many miles have you driven? And they keep putting in 27,000. So they end up getting audited because they've claimed 128,000 miles because they keep asking, and they keep putting in the same total miles for the year versus divvying it up. Meaning the software is not designed for someone, in my mind, who is self-employed. It really is the simple person with a W-2 who doesn't own any real estate, right? Yeah. Put it in, $25, it's done, you can e-file. So I guess what I want, the question I'm asking you is partly, I'm going to let the CPAs kind of off the hook. Not completely. They should probably do a better job, but it's a hard sell when they don't want to pay and they don't put value on it. Right? No one's going to want to spend that time on their own to do it. And if the client doesn't want to pay for it, you're kind of in a pickle. But I do think, and I want to see if you agree, it really has been, it's the taxpayers that have been driving this. And I do think a lot of it is the perception that has been created by the software companies, Intuit included. I'm throwing them in there too because of TurboTax, as well as the national chains that are on every single corner in America with the person out front waving at you, as you're driving by to come in during tax season. Do you think that's fair? Am I being too hard on the taxpayers, not hard enough on the accountants?
I would probably say, I think that goes back to the mixed bag, but to me, I think it's that we, again, have pat our heads down too much in the work, that we're not out there telling people about our value. I think you said once in a podcast that individuals look at their 1040 as a report card, when they should be looking at it as an opportunity for tax planning so that they don't have to owe money at the end of the year. So I think it's really a lot of the CPAs and even the enrolled agents' fault who are working directly with clients, tell them what great things that we can do for them and not just say, hey, we're amazing, but show them that we're amazing, and that the little extra dollars that we're going to charge you is completely worth it, because in the end, we're going to save you money. We're going to save you time. We're going to give you back the time and effort so that you can focus on what you do best, which is grow your business. And I think, again, that goes back to, we don't even know how to talk to our clients, and, you know, how to do the conversation. And Amy Vetter, who you had on the podcast, I believe, a week ago, she's going to be our keynote speaker at the Business Advisory Conference.
Great choice.
Yep, I have to say, I'm super excited to think I've got a CPA and a yogi at the same time telling us how we can better speak with our, you know, communicate with our clients. She's going to give us a lot of great insight there. So I think the burden should really be on us, not being out there tooting our own horn and trying to work with our clients to help them address their pain points. But like you said too, TurboTax and QuickBooks and, you know, chains like H&R Block and Jackson Hewitt have done us no favors either. They make it seem like it is so easy to put together a tax return, and, you know, you type the numbers in, and it goes back to your example of you type in 27,000 miles per car, or per one car per business, and they're getting audited and they don't understand why, because they don't know what they're doing. And that's where we can step in and provide some real advice and some guidance on how to do it correctly. So there's a lot of ways that, you know, we can work with our clients to help them to mitigate these ideas that the industry is putting out there. And Wade Myers, who's the CEO of Capital Works, is going to give us some great talk, some great insight and tools and strategies that we can implement to better serve our clients at the conference. I think you're going to get a lot of great insight from him too on what we can do to change these perceptions that TurboTax and QuickBooks will be the savior for all, when that's not really true.
Yeah, no, I agree. Now let's get back to, because you made that comment about, you know, it can be overwhelming.
Right.
The software. So, and I think I've mentioned this on the podcast before. I, until about 2 or 3 years ago, had never walked into an exhibit hall at these conferences. I
remember that.
I flew in. I'd go down, speak, go back to my room, do billable work. It's what I do. It's what most lawyers do, right? Because we grind our life away in 6-minute increments. And Don Brolin, who's one of my accountants, almost grabbed me in a headlock and dragged me into the exhibit hall at Scaling New Heights, and I was blown away.
I was going to say, that'd be fine to see somebody dragging you into the exhibit hall.
Oh, yeah. But I was blown away by just the sheer, not just the number of exhibitors, but what there is.
I know.
Inventory management, collections, sales tax in all 50 states, you know, obviously bookkeeping, tax preparation, everything under the sun, credit management, bill pay. I mean, and all the competing companies, and how you sort out one versus the other, it is really interesting. And when I had Joe Woodard on, I actually apologized to him because I kind of made fun of him. I'm at this conference that he's doing down in Florida at Disney World, of all places, and it's Face the Yeti, and it was about dealing with the technology that's coming, you know, phase whatever. And he had some guy walking around in a Yeti outfit. I was like, this is the dumbest thing I have ever seen. Aside from the fact we're at Disney, you're telling me the accountants are like, what, they're afraid of computers, they don't know how to use a computer, the computer bit them. I have no idea. Are they using green sheets? I don't understand, you know, why this is even an issue at this point. Now, over the years of speaking for Joe, so when I had him on, if you listen to it, I actually apologized to him. I said, you know what? You were right. I was wrong. You saw this coming. And to me, I poo-pooed it. Not that it wasn't coming, but I didn't see what the big deal was. And now, honestly, I get it. You know, his thing was that, you know, if leveraged properly, that the software, the technology should allow the CPA to shift from more of just being an accountant with your head down to the trusted advisor, leveraging the technology to kind of punch above their weight, if you would.
Right. Right.
So where were you on this? Although I think I know the answer to that. That's a stupid question. But you know what? Actually, a better question. Why do you think this is such an issue for the accounting profession?
Well,
and by the way, it's not just the accounting profession. I have it with lawyers. We do have some senior members of the firm who they would like to throw their computers out if they were allowed to. But let's talk just for the accounting profession for the moment. Why do you think it's such an issue for them?
because we all have green eye shades and green pieces of paper that we all love to write on. We are the stereotypes of what people think accountants are. And I was thinking, as I was thinking about you talking about going to Scaling Heights and how you would ignore all the exhibit halls, I've done that too. I've at least walked through the exhibit hall, dropped my business card off in the hopes of winning maybe the gift card to Starbucks or whatever, and I'll take their brochures, put it in the bag and think, I'll check it out later. And what I realize is later never comes. And what I've come to realize in hearing about the myriad of technology choices like you're talking about, I was dumb. I should have actually spent time talking with them to figure out which software would really work for me, which kind of bill pay technology would help me provide a better experience for my clients. And because I want to get out of the idea of wearing the green eye shade and the green and working on the green sheets, I have to figure out how to incorporate technology into my practice so that I'm moving from those low value tasks like data entry into QuickBooks or data entry into TurboTax or just preparing a spreadsheet that I know my clients' eyes are going to glaze over. I have to figure out how to incorporate technology into my practice so that I can work on and do the things that I love best, which is help provide advice for my clients. So I'm with you on being overwhelmed, but we have to embrace it.
No, another thing, because you're having Amy Vetter as your keynote speaker, and you know already by now she's one. I have a mentor, a rabbi. Well, I have, for lack of a better term, I have a board of directors. There are people that I go to in various facets. So I had a moment probably almost a year ago, where I spoke to one of my clients who I've got to get on the program, Brent Robertson, who's at Fathom, not the software company Fathom. There's a consulting group Fathom in West Hartford, Connecticut. And Brent and I, because we work on this on the same clients, have run into each other over the years. And I called him on a Saturday and I got him on his cell phone. And I said, everything's going great. My tax rep LLC keeps growing and people are succeeding and I feel great. The books are selling, the firm keeps growing. So why am I so fucking miserable? And it prompted a conversation about the way we approach our work, the way we deal with clients, which led me to say, you know what, when you start in the work-life balance, and I dragged Amy in, I said, look, I need help. I'm working 24/7 and I'm burning out. I feel that I'm burning out and I don't want to have a stroke at my desk. I don't want my kids to grow up and not really remember me or remember me as the guy who was always annoyed down in his office. And so I have a number of people. I have other colleagues that I go to when I have case issues. I have Brent, who's helped our firm revamp the kind of the way we implement things and do things and put more systems in place. I have Amy, who talks me off the ledge from time to time. I have Sandy Leva, who helps me with tweaking my marketing and the things I'm doing with my books. I go to mentors. And I know you've mentioned this. For the accountants, first, do you have a mentor or mentors?
Well, I say, just like you, I have a number of mentors of my own.
And how did you, I guess for people listening to this, I mean, listen, it's actually why Tax Rep has grown so much, because the people that come in who are members, are looking for mentoring to build their practice. And so, like my sponsors, this is who we use. We have no sponsors that we actually don't use at this firm. I won't take their money. I can't plug them because people I know are relying on me. Eric said this works. And so call E&Q and Tax Help Software and Receipt Bank. That's who we use. It's on my phone. That's what we do. Don't ask me about the others. Either, I mean, I'll tell you if I tried it and didn't like it. And so I shouldn't be surprised, I guess. But what would you suggest to the folks, the accountants who are listening to this? Where do you go to find a mentor? And on that note, would you agree that you will have probably different mentors for different things?
Absolutely, I would for sure agree that you have lots of mentors throughout the course of your life for different things. Amy Vedder, for example, is perfect in terms of talking about work-life balance and how to talk with our how to work with our clients. I have a mentor who, when I decided to first go out on my own, he coached me along the way as to how to approach clients, how to start building my practice, and he has been invaluable to me. I have an attorney friend of mine she's actually been really great for me in providing lots of great marketing insight as to how I can get my name out there, or, what's the best practice of dealing with, for lack of a better word, a crappy client. So there's lots of great insight and that you can work with different mentors. How I've gone about choosing one is following my mom's advice, going back to elementary school. Figure out who the smartest person in the room was and be friends with them. They are the ones who are going to help you be successful, and it has paid off in spades for me. You just figure out who the smartest one is, and Zippo, I think you're in great shape. But I think especially as we move into and feel the goal of moving to the client advisory services model, it requires a shift in your mindset and in your business practice. So here's where it's really critical that you find a mentor who has successfully transitioned their practice towards this, because again, there's so many competing things that you need to think about, not just what do you charge, what do you say to your clients, what kind of services can you offer to them. A mentor in this particular area will be invaluable to you. And in fact, I asked Brian Lang, who's the owner of Austin Executive Tax, to come speak with us about this topic as well, because he has successfully done just that. And I think he's going to give us a lot of great insight into how do you value or price your products? How do you price your services? How do you talk with your clients to get them on board with this additional advisory services that you can provide them? And more importantly, how do you step in and help them, your clients, solve their pain points and figure out what their leading indicators are as opposed to their lagging indicators? Again, I think it's going to be a great conference, and I'd love for as many people to attend as who can.
Yeah, no, and so Alison, I do have a last question because time is short.
Sure.
How do our listeners get in touch with you?
Well, they can email me at Alison@Reiff-Martin Accounting, which, as you and I were talking earlier, it's oh so easy to spell. It's at Alison, ALISON, at REI, F as in Frank, martinaccounting.com. You can also go to my website, Reiff-Martin CPA. And if you're itching to register for the Business Advisory Summit, you can go to my website, or you can go to Eventbrite, type in Business Advisory Summit, and you will be able to register right away for that.
Yeah, no, and what I'm going to do is I will put your contact information in the description of the podcast. So if you're listening, go to the podcast page, the description, and Alison's contact information will be there. So I guess my last question is, because I'm excited about the conference, and you've given us some hints along through this podcast. What can people expect to hear when they're there?
Well, I was going to say thanks for noticing that I was doing little teasers. That was my great insight from working in television industry, was you always want to tease your audience with what's coming up. And again, I think the Business Advisory Summit is going to be great. It's on Friday, December 6th in Dallas, Texas. And as I've said along the way, we have a great lineup of speakers who are going to help give us some tools and insight into how to pivot our practice to client advisory services. This, I think, is key for CPAs. We will get 8 hours of CPE, and as we're getting to the end of the year, I think that's really important to know. Breakfast and lunch will be provided, and it's going to be chock full of great information. And I really can't wait for everyone to attend. It's going to be a wonderful event.
Yep, no, and I know you already have a few hundred people. I think it's going to be terrific. Thank you for coming on the program. I can't wait to hear about the conference. I'm sure it's going to go great. And I'm very enthusiastic about more and more of this, where what's happening is we're trying to help the audience make that transition. Because, not to be political, but on a more global scale, there are a lot of, not just Americans, but let's pick on Americans, who I think, there's always been change. Change has always happened. Agrarian to more industrial, but it took 40 years. Now it can take 18 months, right? The change is coming so rapidly, I think people are thrown. And so I think the conference is a wonderful idea. It's very timely. Yeah. I think it's terrific. And again, thank you for taking out time to join us, and we'll definitely have you back again.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Eric. I really appreciate this opportunity. And as I've said before, I'm an avid listener to your podcast, and it's great to get to meet you in person.
All right. Well, thank you. And everyone, thank you for listening in. Go down, check out the description. There will be the links there to contact Alison, a link to the conference, all right, December 6th. And with that, thank you all for listening, and I'll talk to you next week.